The connection between the hands and the elements and your inner sight is the beginning of creating uh, something more powerful to your imagination than just a witness of seeing things without necessarily paying attention to it. And in fact, most of you, if you think back to your childhood, that inner world was very much alive and very much important to you. And as you got older and people kept saying that that inner world had no value, that it was just your imagination, it didn't stop, but through the capacity of the brain, you stopped paying attention to it. It just sort of went going on in the background without any attention or value put on it. In fact, it becomes like a blind spot. Sometimes children are born and they have their eyes that cross. And when the eyes cross, the brain is receiving two different images at the same time of the world. Kind of like this. When I cross my eyes, I see two of everything. It's very disturbing to the brain to try and keep that up, and after a while, the brain just stops paying attention to one of the images. It's called amblyopia. Since I'm a doctor, I can use medical words. And even if you straighten those eyes out, the brain will never come back to use those images. It will have permanently stopped paying attention to them. So as a child, we have one set of images, which is our inner world, and the other set of images, which we have overlying and superimposed on it, which is the consensual world that we share with our peers and our families and everything. And if we lived in a beautiful society like, say, the Polynesians or the Native Americans or the Eskimos or almost every other society on this planet other than the one that we live in, that beautiful interchange was valued and peace could be made available between those two worlds. But since we live in a society where we think we're not primitive anymore, therefore we don't have to pay attention to our imagination, that is not acceptable. It becomes painful to have to go back and forth for the child between those two worlds of their internal subjective sensations, which we call imagination, and the external world of consensual reality, which is at war with it in this society. So many people turn that part down because it's just too painful. And the symptoms often start when the child's at an age where they start to have nightmares, when the images start to be at war with each other or be frightening. That's because there's the friendship between those pieces is being broken down in our society. And instead of helping that child to make friends with those two worlds, we tell them, oh, you're just imagining it. Go to sleep. There's nothing there. There are no monsters under the bed. There's nothing looking at you in the shadows. Just suck it up and